I think the equity market is one that we haven't really discussed. And I think before we talk about issues such as corporate bonds and covered bonds and mortgage bonds, I think one of the panelists mentioned, if we don't find ways of creating more equity capital and more capital to go into the system, you know, it's not only about leverage, it's all about the capital that is available across the region as well. And so there if you think that the corporate bond market is dysfunctional across Eastern Europe, the equity market is even less functional. And so this is areas similar to my comment on foreign exchange. I think we can see a greater role for stock exchanges in this region to take regional roles. We cannot have 30 stock exchanges in this region. I think currently we have way over 30. So there needs to be clearly further consolidation of these equity markets on a regional basis, not in London. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody in London really knows what goes on in some of these countries. But on the region, this is where the knowledge is, and we need to think of ways. Again, this has got nothing to do with IT. There are IT firms who can make these systems available within 3 months, 6 months. It's purely about willpower and political sacrifices to enable this to take place. And I think this will be the foundation on which a corporate bond market will come. But a corporate bond market without an equity market is a non-starter, because if there's no clarity over where equity capital is going to come from, how can you determine whether or not a company is a safe investment or not? Briefly on the legal and regulatory side, I think there our view is very clearly that we have learned so much internationally, we've learned so much from the European integration, we shouldn't have to go and reinvent wheels and set legal and regulatory standards across this region that have any huge variations from the way the market is functioning within the EU or globally. And infrastructure, my point is, it is so cheap, it is so quick, so whether or not it's payment systems, whether or not it's clearing and settlement, whether or not it's stock exchanges, bond trading systems, all these things are available now for very, very little money. There's so much experience globally that, again, this should not be an obstacle in terms of the investment needs that are needed there. And so I think the plumbing is something that a lot of people talk about and they say it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's the willpower that is the big obstacle. It's not the actual expense that is needed.